Alright guys, let's talk about power functions and polynomial functions. So an exponential expression is an expression that has exponents or powers, okay? And it can look like this. The coefficient is the 2 in front of the base, which is your A. I'm trying to just get our A, see if we can do that. Yeah, there we go. That's your base. And then, another good color, blue. Your power is your 3, okay? Might not have been the best color, but there you go. So here are some properties of exponents. So we have the product property, which means when you have x raised to the m times x raised to the n, then that equals x raised to the m plus n. Okay, so that's kind of like if you have x squared times x cubed, then you add these two together, and that's going to equal x to the 5th. Okay? Not too bad. Oops. Lost place where I was. Now the power property. This is where if you have a base of x and it's raised to two different powers, so x raised to the x, that's in parentheses, and it's raised to another power, that equals x raised to the m times n. So what if we had like x squared, and then that's raised to the 4th power? Well, that would equal x to the 8th power, right? Because you would multiply these. Maybe I should say 2 times 4, which equals x to the 8th. Is that better? Okay, there we go. So that is your power property. Get rid of that one real quick. We'll talk about the next one, which is our quotient property. This is where we have x to the m divided by x to the n. Well, then that happens, we have the same base, the division of different exponents. Well, that would be x to the m, and then you subtract the lower one, minus n. So if we have x cubed over x squared, that's going to equal x 3 minus 2, which is just going to give us x. There's always this little implied 1 up here, but we don't write that, okay? So that's the quotient property. Now, we have the power property of products and quotients. So this is if we have x times y raised to 1 power, that power goes to both, right? It goes to the x and to the m. It's kind of like distributing it. So that equals x raised to the m, y raised to the m. And also with a fraction, if you have x divided by y raised to the same power, it goes to the top and to the bottom. Okay? You see that there. 0 exponent, anything to the 0 power is always 1. I don't care what number it is. If it's 7 raised to the 0 power, that's going to equal 1. If it's 10,000 raised to the 0 power, that's going to equal 1. X raised to the 0 power equals 1. Okay, anything raised to the 0 power is always 1. I think I can erase this. Yes, I don't know why I've been doing that other way. Beautiful. Okay, now negative exponents. If you have x raised to the negative n, that gives you your reciprocal, right? So a negative exponent tells you to take this x, put it on the other side of the bar, and change the sign. So like if we have x to the negative 2 power, you know that any time that you have a whole number, it's always can be written over 1, right? So we just want to write the reciprocal and change the sign. So we're going to flip it. We write 1 on top, x on bottom, and change the sign of this power to a positive, okay? Same thing if it's on bottom. What about that? Let's change the color of my pen. So what if we have 1 over x to the negative 3? We want to write that opposite. So we're going to take the x above the line. So we're going to have x. Now we change the sign on this, so it's going to be a positive 3. We don't really have to write it over 1, so we can just write it as x to the 3rd power. Okay? So that's negative exponents. This is so cool that you can erase with this. See, I told you I'd get better. Just took me a little bit. So sorry for that. Now let's look at this example down here and see what it says. Use the property of exponents, which we have here. to simplify each of the following. So we have 3x squared and y. All of this is raised to the fourth. So what that tells me, number one, is that I have to make my pen a little bit smaller so I could do this. But this fourth power is going to go to the 3. It's going to go to the x squared, and that's supposed to be x squared. And it's also going to go to the y. Okay. So we're going to write that as 3 raised to the fourth power. X squared raised to the fourth power, and y raised to the fourth power. Now we could simplify this a little bit. Well, 3 to the fourth power means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. We know that's 81. 3 squared times a 4. That's going to give us x to the 8th and then y to the 4th. So that would be that simplified. Okay? That's how you would do that. Okay, let me get out of this. Okay, I think this is yours. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do your problems. If you have any questions, please holler at me and I would be happy to help you with them. Okay? Have a great day.